Hi VC, this is Aaron, Mutha Alamar. Today I'm doing a contest entry for Jerry at Darkside Vinyl and his Push to 100 contest. He's a really great guy with a great channel, and I'll just get right to the questions because there's 10 of them here. So the first question is, how long have I been making videos for the VC, the vinyl community? And it's been about 3 months that I've been doing it, is it. I'm still really new. I'm learning how to do it, still learning a lot of stuff, but I'm really enjoying it. And the second one is, what got you started? And that was by losing my flip phone a couple of years ago and getting an iPhone. And then I started watching some YouTube, and then I'm really into records, so I discovered Frank Landry at channel 33 RPM. I started watching his channel, and then from there I started watching Scott Waters' channel and Lazarus, who are both amazing. I love both those channels. And then I discovered like Ron Haggerty's Vinyl Sanctuary, which is great, and Todd Guy, the Thrashing Zombie, a couple others. And then I finally discovered Chris Prophy and Musically Obsessed, which I started watching him, and he showed a Sea Hags record. And that's been one of my favorite albums since 1989, and I couldn't believe someone was showing that. And so I got on the phone and texted a response on YouTube, figured out how to get on there, and texted that I liked that record. And then we started communicating back and forth a little bit for about a month or so. Every once in a while I comment, and he comment back to me. And so finally he did a contest, his 413 contest, I think it was, something like that. And that was my first video that was getting in on his contest. And I'd been watching the VC for about a year and a half, 2 years maybe. So I kind of had an idea of what I liked, and I really liked when people showed their records, their whole collections. I'd go through and watch them, and all the other stuff. And so I thought, if I'm going to do it, I'll do this contest, and I'll just go through my collection to kind of get my foothold and try to learn how it all works and everything. And so by watching all those channels, and then I just made my first one, I made a couple more, and then I almost quit. I was like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. And then Rachel the Music Man started commenting on my stuff, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And so the next one is, whose videos do you always watch and why? Well, I work mornings, so and then from after I get off work until about 5 in the afternoon when my wife gets home, that's my time I can do the VC. After that, I spend the time with my family, and then on the weekends she's home, so I don't really do much VC stuff on the weekends. So I only have a few hours a day. But there's I've subscribed to hundreds of channels. I try to watch everybody's, but I miss them occasionally. There's certain ones, like all those ones I mentioned, I try to watch every one they put out, and a bunch of others too. I mean, I don't want to start naming them and make people feel bad if I miss them, but like Christian Osario, he's a guy from Chile. I really love his stuff. There's Mark Wald of Vinyl Crush. There's bunches of them. Randy Nelson. He's really good. Cloudy Milder. I could probably name 100 of them, but it's going to take too long. So I just try to watch everybody's when I can. Sometimes I'm a little behind, and I watch them. Then I'll, when I get some time, I'll go back and watch them. Then I'll comment. And and what was really cool is this pertains to the next question, which is, why do I watch Jerry's channel? And when I first started the VC, he was actually my second subscriber, Jerry, you were. So that was really cool. I always remember that. And every time I see a Darkside vinyl come up, I try to watch it. Although he doesn't do them, you don't do them as often as a lot of people. So sometimes I miss them, and I go, I missed it, and have to go back. But so my first subscriber was Chris Prophy, and then Jerry from Darkside Vinyl, and then Vinyl Richie. I really love his channel too. He cracks me up. And Brian from Cosmic Vinyl. Those two guys crack me up so much. I love their channels. Great guys. But Jerry, the reason I watch yours is because you're my second subscriber. I never thought I'd get past 10. And you got a great channel, and I've noticed that you don't have a whole lot of subscribers yet, but you have a couple videos. They're like 300 views, over 600 views on one. I'm not even close to that on any of mine. That's really cool. So you're doing a lot right, and you have a really good stage presence, camera presence, and I really love how you talk about records, and like all of us, that's what we love, is the music, and it's just great hearing other people that love talking about music. So I'll show the top 5 albums. Ones I never sell. I don't really have 5 favorite records, so I'll just show a couple that I know I'd never sell for sentimental reasons, because I could pick, hundreds of these that would be my top 5. So the first one I'm going to show, and my uncle Jeff Bartell in Portland, Oregon, gave this to me, and he actually had it autographed by Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz. So he personally had it autographed when this album first came out. He was in Music Millennium in Portland, Oregon, and Ozzy autographed it for me, and he was kind enough to give it to me. So this one here I will never get rid of. It's I usually don't ever take it out of the plastic, but I didn't want the glare. So that's a great record too. So that's one of them. Another one, this is an album I bought from a good friend of mine named Ken Squires, who's got an amazing collection as well. He's got a bunch of killer metal and hard rock, prog, but this is a Wasp first record, and it's autographed by the entire band, and it's one of my favorite records ever, one of the best metal records ever made. Just killer stuff. It's been one of my favorites since it came out. Love it. And another one is this is King Hobo with Mauga, and this is a more recent band, and what it is, and this is actually autographed on the inner sleeve, which is kind of odd. They did that, the band. So this here is Jean-Paul Gaster from Clutch, my favorite band. He's the drummer from Clutch. And this guy here, Pete Weiberg, I believe he is in Opeth. So Opeth and Clutch meet. But this is like almost like a southern rock type, just like ZZ Top-ish or something. It's not real super over heavy, but it's really killer rock music, and Opeth, Clutch, and doing Melbourne music, but it's really killer music though too. It's a really good record. So, and another one, this has always been one of my favorite records, and it took me forever to find a copy, and this is Mother Love Bone, Apple. I'm a huge Andrew Wood fan, huge fan of this record especially. They only had their EP in this, and then the Purple double record, which I have as well. I don't have their Shine EP. I'd like to get that someday. But this is a white, it's not an original copy. I'd like to find an original, but I'll never get rid of this either. It sounds really good. It's on white vinyl. But I just love this album. I was really into them like right when this was out, and even before this, and then he died right before it was released, and so I was having an emotional attachment to this because of that. Great record too. It's amazing. And the next one, Sweet FA Temptation. Now, I love both the Sweet FA records. This one took me so long to find. It took me 30 years to find this on vinyl. I've got it on cassette, my original cassette from back in the early 90s, but it took me forever to find this on vinyl, and it's really hard to find. This is audiophile quality vinyl on this. Sounds amazing. Killer sounding record. One of my favorite records of all time, and one of my favorite bands ever. So, Sweet FA Temptation. So those are the 5 that I'll never sell for sure. So the next question is, how long have you been collecting records? Well, I started listening to records when I was about 3 years old. My parents had a small record collection, and my first memories of music are the Beatles' Abbey Road and Revolver, those 2 records. And they had other records too, but I was drawn to the Beatles instantly when I was a tiny kid, and I've always had a love for music. So I have a couple records from my childhood, and then in my teens I didn't have a lot of money, but I was buying cassettes because I could take them, and I'd take my music to parties, and I'd instantly take over the stereo, and then that was a big thing back when I was a teenager. There was kind of like 3 different crowds. There was the heavy metal crowd, which I was in, and then there was the rap crowd, and then there was kind of the country crowd, and then you could tell what kind of party it is just by the music you went in. And if it was like a rap or a country party, we usually wouldn't even go in. We'd just go find somewhere else, because we couldn't handle hanging out that long and not listening to our heavy metal music. It was just an obsession. So, so I bought mainly cassettes in my teen years, but I'd also buy a record here or there. Like I remember buying Dangerous Toys because I loved that record and had such a killer cover. There's a few. I probably had 100 to 200 records, and by the time I was graduating high school, I had a couple hundred, and I've always had that many, and then built on that. So I've always had a small, that base to go from. And then over the years, I was into cassettes. I never got into CDs like everyone else. I always had CDs, and I love them too. They're good. you know, they're good, but I always had a tape player in my car, so I had tapes. But then I started getting back into vinyl real heavily about 20 years ago, 25, but I already had, you know, by that point, you know, 700-800 records, and then I've been building it up from there. So that's my record journey, kind of. Show my 100th record. So when I went through my collection, this is my 100th record. It's in the A's. This is Alice in Chains Unplugged. And going through all my records, this is number 100. I do it alphabetically. So great record. I love this. One of the last things Lane Staley ever did, if not the last. Amazing record. And that's my number 100. And my favorite artist that I can always turn to and always lifts my spirits, and that's got to be my favorite band. I mean, it could be, there's a number of them. Kiss comes to mind. I'm a huge Kiss fan. You know, Megadeth and Anthrax and stuff like that. But I'm going to go with my favorite band, and I'll show a couple records of them. I've got all of the discography except for their first, and I don't know what number the other one is, because there's two of them that never released on vinyl. I have them on CD, but I'm waiting for them to release them on vinyl. There's a Clutch. This is their self-titled record. Really killer record. And then, you know, then you got the classic Elephant Riders. This album is so good. It's even got, you know, it's just the lyrics. Once you read the lyrics and hear this stuff together, it just takes a whole new level to it. And then they have really good instrumentals. They have one on here called Cracker Jack that's kind of jazzy, has some horns in it, and a very jazzy feel to it. They're such great musicians. They just are uncategorizable. Whatever. I'm saying that wrong. Then there's like Jam Room. But Jam Room is such a great record too. I mean, it's got Release the Kraken on it. You know, just killer stuff. Slow Hold of China. Another great record by them. This one's got Four Lords and One More. It's got Willie Nelson on it, which is a song, it just talks about Willie Nelson. Killer song. And then it's Blast Tyrant. I'm just showing a few of them. These are just some of my very favorites of theirs. Earth Rocker. I can turn to any of these records or the ones I'm not showing. Every one of them just blows me away every time I hear it. Psychic Warfare. It's a concept record. Really killer. So that's my artist that I turn to usually. My favorite concert memory, I mean, I've got a lot of them. My first concert was Huey Lewis and the News. I was like 14 or so, maybe. It's when Sports was out, and they were really good live. And then I saw Loverboy, and they were really good. My first one that really blew me away was my third concert, and that was ZZ Top on the Afterburner tour. And they were my favorite band at the time. I was really into Eliminator and Afterburner, and then all their old stuff too, but I was just getting into their older stuff. But their concert, that's the first one I saw that had a massive amount of lasers, and the stage was like the dashboard of a car, and then all the lights went down and a countdown and came back. It was like the inside of a spaceship. It was pretty cool, and it kind of blew my mind when I was in my early, mid-teens. And, I just will always remember that. And I bought a ZZ Top keychain. I had that for a couple years before I finally lost it. So, and then, my first metal concerts were great. The Kiss, Kiss with Anthrax was amazing. I've seen a bunch of them. So that was probably my favorite one. And then the Kiss Hot in the Shade tour, which is my favorite concert I ever saw. That was amazing. And then the next one is show a 10-inch or 45. So I'll show one of each. So I'll do the 45 first. Here's this 45. This is a pretty cool one. I'm speaking to ZZ Top. This is Mastodon with Just Got Paid, and the other side is ZZ Top, Just Got Paid. So two different versions of Just Got Paid, really cool sounding, and very different sounding. So I love that. Just Got Paid is one of my favorite songs. I love that. And then this 10-inch I'll show is Queens of the Stone Age, Era Vulgaris, and this is a triple 10-inch, folds out, and in each of these sleeves here, there is a 10-inch record with 2 songs on each side for the whole record, the whole album, and they're labeled, there's side B, side A, and they're all, slightly different with those, there's C and D. It's a really good record too. I love Queens of the Stone Age. It's Josh Homme, great guitarist and singer, but he's from another one of my favorite bands called Caius, of course, and he's in Eagles of Death Metal, them Crooked Vultures, great stuff. And then the last ones are E, E, and F. All right, so there we go. All right, well, congratulations. I'm sure you'll get to 100 and blow right past it. And you've got a great channel. You're a great guy, Jerry. Always appreciate you being my second sub. That's really cool. I'll always remember my first three: Chris Profi, Jerry, and Vinyl Richie. That's really what got me started here. So, all right, thanks a lot. Keep rocking, everybody.